Hi, you guys. It's Yaz, and today I'm going to talk about what your silence does to the narcissist. What a lot of people don't realize is your silence is your biggest weapon against the narcissist. Narcissists feed off reactions. When you get angry, when you get sad, when you start yelling and screaming, when you start crying, the narcissist loves to get reactions out of you because they know when they get a reaction out of you, they have control over your emotions. So, what people don't realize is that by you going silent, you are crippling the narcissist in the sense that the narcissist no longer has control over you. And this really stops the narcissist dead in their tracks, and they don't know what to do when you run silent because they can't read you. When you go silent, they don't know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what's in your head, and they realize that you no longer need their validation anymore. See, in the beginning, when you don't really understand narcissism, a lot of people try to communicate with the narcissist like they were communicating with another normal person, that is listening to them, cares when they talk. But when you try to communicate with a narcissist, number one, half the time they're not even listening to you. They don't care. They only hear what they want to hear, whatever benefits them, all right? They don't care about the truth if the truth causes them to have to take accountability. So what a lot of people do when they, are arguing or have conflict with a narcissist is they sit there and they go back and forth with the narcissist, which gets them nowhere. By the way, gets them nowhere. When you've been with a narcissist long enough and you've tried so many times to resolve conflict, you're going to basically hit a wall. You're going to hit a wall, and you're going to get to a point where you just basically give up because you're not getting anywhere with the narcissist, because they're not reasonable. They don't care what you have to say. But when you go silent, it stops the narcissist dead in the tracks because now they start to see that you don't care anymore. You don't care anymore, and you're not sitting there, you're not defending yourself. See, the more you defend yourself to the narcissist, the more you look weak. The more the narcissist realizes you don't see what they're doing. Okay? But when you go silent, you're sending a direct message to that narcissist that I don't care anymore. I don't care what you have to say or what you're doing. I'm not dealing with this, okay? You're showing the narcissist that you no longer care. And this sends the narcissist into panic mode because you're not searching for, any kind of closure from the narcissist. You're not searching for the narcissist's validation. And this will definitely frustrate the narcissist. And in some cases, narcissists can get very angry when you go silent, all right? And what they will try to do is they will try to provoke you. They may, say something to you. They may make a nasty remark to you to try to get a reaction out of you. They may post things about you on social media to try to provoke a reaction out of you. So never ever take the bait because they want to know that they matter. And when you go silent, you're showing the narcissist they don't matter anymore. Okay? So it's silence is very powerful, very powerful. And it's more powerful than sitting there and telling the narcissist off. Because when you tell the narcissist off, you're showing the narcissist that they matter. But when you sit there and you say nothing, now you're showing the narcissist that anything that comes out of their mouth doesn't matter and that they have no importance whatsoever. So that's why your silence is powerful. And that's why it cripples the narcissist because, and what's going to happen? I'll tell you what's going to happen. if they may try to provoke you and try to get a reaction out of you, and then when they realize they can't get a reaction out of you, generally what they'll do is they'll move on to another supply that they can control that person's emotions, because the narcissist needs to be fed. And when I say they need to be fed, what I mean is that they need to feel like, they need that control where somebody reacts off whatever they do. When you react, you're giving the narcissist control. So if you're not doing it, what they're going to do is they may go to another supply. Or what they may do is they will use other people against you in order to get you to react. Because when a narcissist can't get to you, what they'll typically do is they'll go to other people and use other people to try to get a reaction out of you, maybe by getting other people to gang up against you. This is typically what the covert narcissist would do, right? They'll badmouth you to other people. They'll try to ruin your reputation to other people. They'll try to tell other people you're crazy. All of this because they've lost control over you. You're no longer reacting to the narcissist. And, that renders them powerless. And so they feel that if they run to other people, maybe it will affect you when other people, don't want to be around you, or other people come and attack you. That's why a lot of narcissists will also use other people to fight their battles. All right. They may fire up other people to get them to hate you, and have these other people attack you to where it affects you when they see that they can't, move you in any way. So the narcissist is going to get desperate. When they have to go to other people, they're generally desperate to try to destroy you. But, if they don't have a vendetta against you, for causing any kind of injury, they generally will move on to other supply. They're not going to like when you go silent because, again, they're losing access to you, and they're losing access to the supply that you have to offer. So that's a big blow to the narcissist. And, they'll probably just call you crazy, say you have mental issues, smear you behind your back, and then they'll move on to another supply. This is generally what they'll do because they're going to get frustrated. The narcissist could get frustrated, and the narcissist could also have a narcissistic collapse because of that loss of control over you. See, narcissists remember you from the beginning of the relationship when they did have control over your emotions, when you were crying, when you were sitting there, going back and forth with them and trying to get their approval, trying to get their validation, when you were chasing after them, trying to get their affection, their attention, or any kind of, love from them. You cared. They mattered. But when you sit back and you go silent on them, now they don't matter whatsoever. And it really destroys the narcissist because that means you're a loss of supply. And it's a blow because now when you go silent, you're also showing that narcissist you have your power. You have your power, that you're good. And you're a strong person, and they don't want to see you a strong person. They want to see you fall apart. Narcissists love when others fall apart because that makes them feel like they had control over you. That, again, they matter. You fell apart because you were so desperate for their validation, or you were so desperate for them. And now they have no control. And this is definitely a blow to the narcissist, definitely a blow to the narcissist. And a lot of people, they learn this later on in the relationship. Like I said before, that what they'll do is you'll argue with the narcissist many times, be yelling and screaming. You'll be completely exhausted because you're not getting anywhere. The narcissist is not taking accountability. They're blaming you for everything. And what happens to the victim is they get beaten down, they get worn out, and they get to a point where they just can't do it anymore. You're tired. You're exhausted. And now you get to a point where you just don't care anymore, okay? And what a lot of victims will do is they'll run silent on the narcissist because they realize that when they do try to talk to the narcissist will just fight with them, and it's not worth the aggravation, it's not worth the exhaustion. So they go silent on the narcissist because they're tired. They're just tired, and they realize that it's useless. That's when pretty much it's game over. It's game over. When you run silent on the narcissist, it is game over, okay? And the narcissist knows it, okay? They know when you've had it and you start going silent on them, they know that you've checked out at that point. Now they know you've checked out. You don't really care anymore. And, that's the end for the narcissist, the end of their control, their end of their power over you. And that is defeat. That is defeat, of the narcissist, because they lost you, they lost control, they lost power over you, they lost the supply that you have to offer, okay? And this is another reason why narcissists do it to themselves, because they beat down whoever they're with the constant arguing, to the point where the person, the victim, gets to a point of not caring anymore. So they ruin it for themselves. You see how things come back to them? Because, people get tired of trying with somebody who is, somebody that won't, be fair and just and doesn't do things that are the right way and plays these games. They're victims. Victims get tired. They get tired of the gaslighting. They get tired of the lies. They get tired of all these kind of things. And the victims are going to check out from the narcissist, run silent on the narcissist, and stop caring, okay? Stop caring. And that's when the narcissist loses all power, and it's game over for the narcissist. So a lot of people wish they knew this from the beginning of the relationship. If they knew that, running silent, cripples the narcissist or renders them powerless. But sometimes you gotta live through something to really understand it. And unfortunately, that could be the case for a lot of people with narcissism. It's like me. I could sit here and I could explain things like to my daughter about, narcissism and, do this, do that. Like when you explain to young kids, like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do this, right? A lot of times it goes in one ear and out the other, because unless you live through it, you really don't understand it, okay? Sometimes people have to go through something in order to really understand it. And that's what happens to a lot of victims. They didn't really understand who and what they were dealing with. And you have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive yourself because you had no way of knowing who and what you were dealing with. You did the best that you could do at the time. Okay. And that's the way you got to be. That's the way you heal. That's the way you move on in life. You have to let go and say, you know what? I did the best I could at the time. But now that I'm educated on narcissism, now that I have the experience of dealing with narcissists, I know for a fact that my silence is my power against that narcissist, because now they have absolutely no control over me, okay? No control over me, because they don't matter. My silence signals to that narcissist that they are nothing, that they don't matter, that I don't have to even answer to them. And I did a reel on this where I said, your greatest power is your silence, because your silence is telling the narcissist that they don't matter. See, when you realize you're dealing with a toxic person, you don't have to respond to them, okay? When you know this person is a liar, a gaslighter, this person played games with you in any which way, you don't owe them jack shit, all right? You don't owe them jack shit. Once you know that somebody is playing games on you, you don't owe them jack shit. Okay, what you owe them is, your absence. That's what you owe them. Now they don't deserve to be in your presence, and you don't need to sit there and defend yourself. You know why? Because their opinion means nothing. What they say behind your back or to your face means nothing, because you're dealing with toxic, okay? And, anything they say doesn't mean shit. So keep that in mind, all right? When you're sitting there, you're getting upset what they're saying, what they're doing. They don't mean shit, okay? And I don't mean to get vulgar, but I say it like it is, you guys. I shoot straight from the hip. So your silence is your power. And the other thing, too, is, that narcissists get frustrated with this because they want to be able to also know what's going on in your mind. So when you go silent, you're shutting down all access to your thoughts. And that narcissists hate that, okay? They hate that. They hate not knowing, what's going through your mind, what you're thinking, this and that. So now the narcissist had you in the dark. And now when you run silent, now you have them in the dark, and that gives you your power back, okay? So that's why your silence is your power. Remember that, all right? And I talk about this in my book on, Amazon, How to Regain Your Power. I talk about it. It's a short little book. You could read it free with Kindle on Amazon. And it's a short little book about how to have your power in relationships. And one of the biggest ways of having your power is through silence. So you guys, I hope that helps you. If it does, hit the subscribe button, share the podcast, share the video to spread awareness. If you're looking for one-on-one phone coaching, check out the link in the bio at askyaz.wixsite.com/thegameexposed. I have limited time. For all my reels and videos, you can find them on my YouTube channel, over 7,000 videos where I cover pretty much almost everything on narcissism. If you want anything, especially on covert narcissists, a lot on covert narcissists, thousands of videos I've done on covert narcissists, malignant narcissists, the discard, how they control. It's all on my YouTube at the Game Exposed podcast. For more, you could check out Facebook and Instagram at The Game EXP123, and TikTok is The Game Exposed. And have a great day.